Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to this Sunday evening live stream. My name is Kit Cabello. I am the host of Hard Lens Media. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification when we go live, because now more than ever, the YouTube suppression is getting very real. And in this day and age of stopping internet censorship, we have to make sure that all of you are aware that when we go live. So be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that ring bell notification. If you want to help us out even further, please consider being a Patreon supporter. Your support will make sure that we're able to continue to push forward and do all the work that we're doing here on this network. Because let's face it, YouTube likes to demonetize and censor independent media. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on Rockfin and Odyssey. We are working on uploading Rockfin exclusive content very soon, within the following year, not the following year, but within this year of 2022. So that's something we are very excited about. Otherwise than that, we got ourselves an interesting story lineup. So be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell everyone that Hard Lens Media is live. By the way, we're going to have a great show tomorrow. So it's going to be good because we're going to be back at the studio. So can't wait for all of that. With that being said, huge shout out to our audience. Let's get started with our first story of the evening. So this caught my attention. It happened yesterday. But Amazon workers were heartbroken. Surprise, surprise, after Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez bails on promise to march with them. Very similar to like how Barack Obama, remember Obama? How he was going to march with the protesters by putting on his marching shoes and holding a protest sign. He was going to do that. Well, it turns out AOC basically did an Obama. Didn't show up, made a promise, broke it. Like a typical Democrat. Mama Bear would be so proud. So what's going on? So Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is ghosting her comrades on the front lines of a labor battle against Amazon. The socialist lawmaker promised organizers she would stand by them at a rally outside Staten Island warehouse trying to unionize, but dropped out at the last minute, and protest leaders revealed to the Post this week that they were so crestfallen they didn't even bother inviting her to a follow-up rally in December. So, by the way, you can check out all the stories in the show notes and description box below. So if you want to share the article online, please feel free to do so. They're in the Google Drive for you guys to click, copy, and paste and share. So, direct quote from Christian Smalls, who's done fantastic work organizing strikes against Amazon. I figured she would follow her word. It was heartbreaking, protester organizer Christian Smalls told the Post. I felt bad for the workers that were excited to see her. It was like a slap in the face. About 50 people showed up for the unionization rally outside the JFK 8 Amazon Fulfillment Center in Bloomfield on August 11th. Activists from the independent Amazon labor union said they didn't even bother inviting the congresswoman who infamously defeated Amazon's proposal in 2019 to open up a 25,000 job world headquarters in Queens to a December 15th rally outside the same facility. The congresswoman spent the holiday season in sunny Florida with sandals-loving boyfriend Riley Roberts. Remember, AOC went on vacation. And look, everyone's entitled to vacation. All the working-class citizens in this country deserve a vacation after all the BS we've been through. But in my own personal opinion, none of these lawmakers, Democrat, progressive, and Republican, deserve time off. They don't deserve to enjoy the holidays because they've effectively abandoned us. But let's face it, AOC went on holiday in sunny Florida. That's where she went. Let's be honest here. Let's have a democratic chat. Let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 if you think these politicians deserve a holiday. Type 2 if they don't deserve a goddamn thing, including their damn benefits. Because as far as I'm concerned, they haven't done anything for us. 2022 is going to be so interesting to cover because you're going to see Democratic and Republican lawmakers crawl on their knees or put on the smiling face saying, oh, please vote for us, and we promise we'll make things better for you. We don't owe them a goddamn thing. Continuing on, this is from a protester, Derek Palmer, who said after she didn't show up the first time, there was no point in reaching out to her after that. That is correct. Why reach out to a politician? They always break promises. The two organizers met AOC when they traveled to Washington, D.C. to join Representative Cori Bush, Democrat from Missouri, in her eviction moratorium protest on the steps of the U.S. Capitol in August. Smalls said they spent hours talking to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez about the Amazon union, and she lavished praise on the effort. Remember, during that time, And shout out to Frank Analysis, who did a fantastic job covering that event, that little event that AOC and Cori Bush were holding on the Capitol steps. They put on music, even though nothing was done to really help out renters and homeowners who are still being evicted from their homes and apartments. But they played music and everything else. Shout out to Frank Analysis. If you want to see his coverage on it, follow his social media. He's been doing great work. But yeah, AOC and Cori Bush, they were there praising. So continuing on with the article, big announcement. She'll be joining us at our first rally in front of JFK 8 Staten Island Amazon next week, August 11th, 4 p.m. Pull up, Small said in a tweet after midnight on August 3rd, sharing a selfie with himself and AOC. What a wonderful little picture that is. Over the next few days, Smalls and Palmer said that they were in contact with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's office, as well as that of Representative Mondaire Jones, to discuss logistics. Yet, just hours before their planned arrival, both of the politicians dropped out. I wonder if they got a phone call from Mama Bear. Smalls said AOC's office came to him about vague threats the Congresswoman had received and that she was canceling her upcoming planned appearances. The threat appears to have abated in time for her to attend a Met Gala, and months later with billionaire heir Benjamin Brosman and wealthy tax-avoiding closer Ora James. Oh, that's right, when she put on that wonderful tax-the-rich dress on. Unionizing Amazon workers had been a holy grail for activists for years. Last April, the company beat back an effort to unionize in the Alabama warehouse. A 2014 unionization effort in Delaware also failed by a wide margin. However, it has been pointed out, especially in that incident in Amazon, turns out Amazon was messing around with the votes. Smalls, the president of Amazon Labor Union, is looking to make history with the Staten Island warehouse and letting walk out with Amazon workers from the facility just before Christmas. Representatives from both offices declined to comment. Well, typical, like any politician, AOC is forgetting where she started from. Remember, this is the same AOC that won't even show up on TYT anymore. Remember, Cenk Uygur even said that. Now, if she does show up on the Young Turks, I find it very questionable again, but she hasn't shown up on independent media in a long time, but yet she's always there in corporate media. She's always there at these wonderful gala events. She's always there taking time for a holiday. But does she deserve it? No. Where is she with the workers and the activists? How come she's not standing in solidarity with these union workers? You're telling me that her team can't afford to hire security if they're that concerned for her? These politicians are all frauds. All of them. Now, maybe at one point AOC might have been sincere and gave a damn. But where is she now? 2022 will be a very interesting midterm election cycle. I'm wondering what kind of fear propaganda the Democrats and the vote blue, no matter who crowd, are going to use. And I just want to remind everyone, no matter what, however the midterms will play out, whether the Democrats maintain their majority or somehow get more seats, or if the Republicans take the entire House or Senate, know this. Nothing will fundamentally change. These politicians don't care. So shout out to Kristen Smalls and all the Amazon union workers that are actually putting in the work and fighting for a better future. They're the ones that give a damn. They're the ones that are sincere. We got to break away any kind of hope or attachment with the two-party system. Never trust a politician. They'll always lie to you. With that being said, we are going to move on now to our next story. Before we do, I want to give a huge shout out to our audience joining us. Shout out to Ashura. We got Kashama Quaid. We got Popularly Smug. We got Flano 1986. We got Frederick Murphy. Alex M. Solidarity. Wendy Carballo. Nice to see you as well. Let's see. We got Leah Neely. Did you hear about the devastation in the Bronx? Wonder if it's in her district. Yes, I did hear about the story about the building catching fire. And unfortunately, as it stands right now, I believe reports showing 19 people did pass away in that horrifying tragedy. Condolences to the families. I'm pretty sure more will be developed with that story. Yeah, very sad for that. But yeah, that was very devastating to hear. We got Sean Christian. She got Pago. Her work is done forever. Oh, yeah, Pago. Alex, and people must stop thinking any politician gives a crap about them, don't have any expectations, and don't support them. Well done. We got Beauty Missile on Diabetes, who says, no way I'm moving back to New York City to vote her out. I will help her primary challenger. Let's see. Who we got here? We got for the votes, everyone's saying 2. Everyone's voting for 2. Yes, these politicians don't deserve a single time off. So there we go. Who else we got? We got hashtag Let's Go Brandon. All right. There we go. Let's see. What else we got here? Card. They're saying AOC has the pandemic, the coof. Well, okay. I don't wish that on anyone, but I will check into those reports. But yeah, that's not good for anyone to get that. I don't wish that on anyone. So there we go. All right. With that being said, we are going to move on now to this hilarious story, and I hope all of you are paying attention to this thing, because this story right here, it blows my mind. But it should show you just how corrupt the military-industrial complex is, just how corrupt everything is in Washington, D.C., because sex, lies, trade deals, how businessman Leonard Glenn Francis, also known as Fat Leonard, Fat Leonard bribed half of the U.S. Navy. So, again, this article is from RT America. Shh, don't tell Rachel Maddow or TYT. They might crap their pants. But this right here is an incredible story. So I hope all of you grab your popcorn, grab a sandwich. This is going to be hilarious. Manila, 2007. The chauffeured Mercedes crawled south for half an hour in the interminable traffic. The turbid waters of Marina Bay on the right. The middle-aged men packed inside the cars were in an exuberant mood. Leonard Glenn Francis was taking out senior commanders of the U.S. 7th Fleet. Hold on, I'm going to be a little more dramatic because this is a quote after all. These were the most powerful Navy officers in Asia, and they controlled the movements of around 60 ships and submarines, 150 aircraft, and 20,000 sailors in a huge operational area stretching all the way from Hawaii to India. The men moved quickly through an air-conditioned lobby and through a curtain at the back. On the other side, Filipino women, many just students, sat in rows in kind of a fishbowl, unidentifiable not by their names, but by the numbers attached to their skimpy outfits. Always the big bosses or Lion King to these Navy officers, Leonard dominated the attention. The action. There we go. The after party was in the $4,000 a night McCarthy suite at the Milano Hotel. It was General Douglas MacArthur's home and operational command during World War II. The men piled into the Spanish mission-style room with wooden ceiling beams, marble tiles, and an ornate chandelier and heavily draped curtains. Leonard stocked the suite with 10,000 bottles of Dom Perignon. My goodness, the 2-bedroom suite was filled with MacArthur memorabilia. In the suite study, 2 ornately carved wooden chairs, the only object to survive the Battle of Manila, stood in front of a desk. One of the men, quite drunk by now, opened a case on the desk containing a replica of MacArthur's famous corncob pipe and grabbed the woman. Hang on, folks. It's gonna get a little worse, so hang on. If you're sensitive, start plugging your ears. Fat Leonard, as he's been known, recalls the scene as follows. Being warriors, they had been at sea for such a long time. The aviators, your nukes, they're captains of ships. They've got this inner side of them that is a beast that needs to come out. We went there and picked up a bunch of karaoke girls and booked them out and brought them back. They are like rock stars. They are living their life, living their dreams, things that they will never, ever, ever do again in their lifetime. Nobody would give them that kind of party that I do. You know, they just started stripping and having sex right there. The pipe was used as a dildo on a hooker, making a mockery of General MacArthur's memorabilia. They totally desecrated and insulted, he says, laughing. That's Fat Leonard. I'm going to use that from now on. It was a mass orgy, from Fat Leonard's mouth. That's how deep we were with the Navy. The entire command, the chain of command, had to be in your pocket. And that's what happened. Everybody was in my pocket. I had them in the palm of my hand, and I was just rolling them around. Martin Scorsese, I think you got another movie. Seriously, tell the story of Fat Leonard. I could just see like a voiceover. Get like Leonardo DiCaprio to kind of like do like a voiceover of it. I think it'll be great. Martin Scorsese, get on it. But I want royalties on it, okay? As he says in the trailer to the interview, I had the Navy by their balls. I turned my guns against them because they betrayed me. Fat Leonard was a Malaysian businessman who bribed numerous officers and others in the U.S. Navy until he was arrested. He paid for prostitutes and orgies for naval officers, ranking all the way up to admiral. He threw lavish parties and $30,000 dinners, $30,000, sent gifts for the officers' wives, little things like Chanel and Gucci handbags, cigars, the nice stuff that no officer or his wife should have to live without. Oh, sounds like a nice guy, Fat Leonard. In return, the officers he corrupted made sure their ships docked at ports across Asia that Fat Leonard controlled. Since the 1980s, wow, Leonard made bank by provisioning the Navy at exorbitant rates for fuel, food, even security by providing what he called a ring of steel around the ships, as if the U.S. Navy should need help defending itself. The ring of steel was nothing but a line of barges tied up around the military ships to prevent an assault like the one that happened in the year 2000 in Yemen's harbor when two al-Qaeda operatives rammed a boat full of explosives into the side of the USS Cole, a guided missile destroyer, killing 17 sailors and injuring 37. 2007 became a very good year for Fat Leonard after 9/11 for the husbanding monopoly of his provisioning company called Glenn Defense Marine Asia. You might say Fat Leonard got fat off his contracts with the U.S. government from that period on, living in a $130 million mansion in Singapore where he kept 20 cars, including a Rolls Royce and militarized Hummers, all proceeds from his U.S. Navy contracts. Audience, like I said, this is one hell of a story. This is a story. Okay, this is something that's gold right here. So there we go. Continuing on. Fat Leonard was a larger-than-life character in more than just weight. Again, let's not make too much fun of him. Where he took up the scales up to 160 kilograms, whopping 352 pounds on his 6'3" frame. Wow. He wore Stars and Stripes ties, had Lee Greenwald's God Bless the USA as his ringtone, ate Sloppy Joes, and rooted for U.S. baseball teams. So the people he served really liked him, and he liked the USA because it was very good to him, without most people in government knowing it was being very good to him. Fat Leonard loved to contract with U.S. military. But now, Fat Leonard is mad. It's not just that his money-making empire came crashing down around his feet in 2013 when he was arrested. He pled guilty in 2015 to all that and is still awaiting sentencing under house arrest in San Diego. No, Fat Leonard is mad because some of the people in his pocket, the highest higher-ups who took his bribes, didn't get taken down with him, though none of what he did could have happened without them. They remain at large, while the legal system shows no apparent interest in them, and that made the usually jolly Fat Leonard, who sounds drunk with power in his interviews, mad enough to speak out publicly. Oh, sure, the corruption scandal led to various naval officers being charged, jailed for a while, and demoted, and to broken marriages, the usual fidel that comes with such scandals. But Fat Leonard wants to know, where is the prison time for the high brass that he himself is now facing? Now that advanced kidney cancer has left him without much to lose, Fat Leonard is crying out publicly. Journalist Tom Wright recently interviewed him, and even Wright admits during the first interviews, Leonard's natural charm conned him into feeling sympathetic towards his tale of a tough childhood and a man who made good by taking care of the U.S. Navy's most urgent needs. And I did have a chance to watch a little bit of this trailer, and it's worthwhile to see. It's one hell of a story. Corruption at the highest level. Type 1 if you're surprised if there's corruption in the military-industrial complex. Type 2 if you always knew. So there we go. I did like him at one point, says Wright. But then there were some personal cruelties to women in his life. The misogyny that runs through this whole story is shocking. At the very end of our interaction, I challenged him on a lot of these things. That was the last time we talked, and his reactions to it is very, very telling. At one point in the final episode, Fat Leonard said to Wright in apparent surprise, "I don't know why you're so worried about hookers." And the hooker they were talking about was the mother of his children. Oh my God. Wright ties his concerns about the misogyny to the kinds of things that happened in the Taiho scandal in the 1990s, becoming an endemic in the armed forces back then because women were new to in the U.S. military, and some male soldiers apparently didn't know how to basically compose themselves around them as colleagues in war. It's not a salacious connection for Wright to make because the big key to Fat Leonard's success with the Navy was orchestrating orgies. Fat Leonard's long success story wasn't just about the great job he did in providing the Ring of Steel. He also did an enthusiastic job of running sex rings for soldiers, a ring of beds, as it were. It didn't matter that he charged exorbitant fees for providing these illegal services because those buying were using U.S. government money, not their own, and their participation in such services virtually guaranteed they never squeal on Fat Leonard. However, Leonard got a taste of his own treatment of women when he was arrested for his crimes. He was stripped, chained, handcuffed, and made to squat. Here you're treated like an animal once inside, he complained. They stripped away the dignity of a man who claims he enjoyed the power of steering $20 billion ships to ports of his own choosing. Again, $20 billion for these ships, but yet we can't have Medicare for all. We can't have student debt forgiveness. We can't have all of this. The military-industrial complex is doing just fine, boasting that he could effectively position the U.S. Navy as a civilian by choosing where he'd offer particular services. He was also charged with obtaining classified information from those he corrupted. So all the while whistleblowers are either exiled or in prison, here you have this businessman who is in jail for a long time, had secret classified information. Where's the outrage from MSNBC and CNN? Probably nowhere. And mind you, this was going on since 2007. So from 2007 to 2013 when his empire collapsed. You know, I wonder, who was president during that time? Because 2008, something happened. And I know 2016, Trump was elected. Somebody was president, and I don't think they were a Republican. I wonder what that administration knew. And gee, I wonder who his vice president was. I wonder. Audience, do you know? Here's a quote from Fat Leonard. I feel completely betrayed. They asked me to name all those involved or face 50 years in jail, and I spilled the beans. I gave them about 40 names. I told them basically how deep the bribery was in the U.S. Navy. It basically shook the foundation of the Navy. I felt very upset because just look at what I'm going through. My entire life has been destroyed. My businesses, my family, everything is gone, you know, being hit like a tsunami. One 4-star admiral I named was let off scot-free just because he was appointed by the president and the Senate. There's no way they're going to embarrass the government by indicting him. It would have been a humiliation. Alas, the good times did not last forever. Fat Leonard's empire has collapsed, and he is palpably angry because the, again, Epstein-like secrets that he held on military brass did him no good. The protection he thought he had wrapped around himself like a ring of steel failed to hold together. I had over 2,800 staff working for me in over 30 countries, and everything folded. So many innocent people lost their jobs. Ugh. Many families were destroyed. This was a deliberate financial ruin brought upon me. Fat Leonard's crimes and those who joined him were reported to the NCIS, the Navy Criminal Investigation Service, by a Navy wife who was physically mistreated, yet for years, nothing was done about anything that was reported because Fat Leonard had, via his secrets, essentially brought everyone off while people were still enjoying his services. According to Wright, Leonard even managed to corrupt one of the top NCIS officers. Corrupt usually meaning in stories like this, to get someone to partake in the sexual services, thereby assuring Leonard's protection from the top of the NCIS, lest the officer in question incriminate himself. It worked like a well-lubricated machine, until one day it didn't. That's the story of Fat Leonard and the story of the military-industrial complex and how corrupt everything is. But yet what we hear from corporate media, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, from Democratic and Republican lawmakers in the House and Senate, from Democratic and Republican presidential administrations, we just don't have the money to give you affordable education. We don't have the money to do Medicare for all. We don't have the money to do a Federal Jobs Guarantee Act. We don't have the money to do a UBI. We don't have the money to invest into our infrastructure, but we have money to basically play around with a guy named Fat Leonard, and no one's going to do their job to investigate. This is how corrupt the entire system is. This is how corrupt it all is. Hey, where's all the progressive lawmakers at? How come no one really shined this on the light? It's an interesting story. And it's just a sign how corrupt the entire system is. But again, maybe I'm being the bad guy here, but there's a few question marks that I just feel like I want to have answered. If it's happening in that one part of Asia, I wonder, because again, the U.S. has military bases all over this planet, like any empire, I wonder how many other fat Leonards there are in Asia, in Europe, in South America, in Central America. I wonder how many of them are out there. Because a story like this, a situation, an environment like this, and how corrupt the Navy was, I have to say, there might be similar situations all across the globe that no one's looking into. Remember, to quote George Carlin, it's one big club and you ain't in it. And remember, Democratic and Republican lawmakers in the House and Senate love giving money to the military-industrial complex. So let that be a lesson to all of you. Fat Leonard, we're only scratching the surface. One hell of a name, though. With that being said, I do want to, again, thank all of you for joining us. We got one more story. Before we do, I want to at least acknowledge the chat here. We got a whole bunch of twos. Everyone is not surprised. We also got a YouTube super chat from Roger Meadows, 2008. That was Bush Cheney. But don't forget, 2007 is when it was going on. 2008, a guy named Barack Obama. And another guy named Joe 30330 Biden also became president too. So there we go. Let's see. I've got Obama and Jim Crow Joe. That's right. Joe Biden. War profiteering from Max Gattaca. That's what you said right there. Who else do we got here? Shout out to all of our other audience members that are joining us. What else do we have? I want to make sure I give everyone here. Marvin 8 missed that NCIS episode. No, check your TiVo. Check your TiVo. Don't worry, it's in there. You'll find it, or find that old VHS copy. Inventor MJM, Fat Leonard, and Uncle Sam. Sounds like a hell of a story on Adult Swim. There we go. Who else we got here? We got Max Gattaca, who says income inequality, wealth inequality. Inventor MJM says also, you know, all business is done like that, this, right? What else? What else we got here? War Deer Entertainment says TiVo. Yeah, come on, you remember TiVo. And then we got E. Heller, one of our moderators, joining us. Shout out to E. Heller. Shout out to all of you joining us. Let's see what else we got here. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Glad to have all of you here with us. Let's see. All right, so I guess all of you were impressed with the story of Fat Leonard. But hold on. We got a showdown happening in Washington, D.C., of all places. Is it AOC versus Mama Bear? No. No. It's not AOC versus Mama Bear. Come on. I'm not going to be that cruel to you guys. But apparently, now look. And again, you can find all the links to the show notes in the description box below. It's a Google Drive, so if you want to check out the articles for yourself, be sure to go in the description box below. But now, here we go. John Ossoff expected to snub Ice Cream Nancy Pelosi by pushing a ban on Congress stock trades. Uh-oh, Mama Bear is being challenged, and it's not by any of the members of the fraud squad. I mean, the progressive squad. Oops. I stuttered there for a second. So, Georgia Senator John Ossoff is looking to introduce a bill that would ban members of Congress from trading individual stocks, a practice that House Speaker Ice Cream Nancy Pelosi, who was also made Speaker of the House by the 15 congressmen, men and women, who are on the forced to vote petition, because they all voted for her. Because, oh no, now's not the time to have Medicare for all. We got to keep our powder dry, folks. How are we going to get a $15 minimum wage increase? AOC had the audacity to say that. Now you know how much of a fraud a lot of these progressive lawmakers truly are. And again, continuing on, a practice that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has defended as her husband rakes in millions of dollars, trading shares of tech companies, the Post has learned. Senator Ossoff's Essex bill, which a Democrat freshman senator plans to introduce once he finds a Republican co-sponsor. Good luck, buddy. But if there is a Republican co-sponsor, shout out to him or her, whoever they may be. Would crack down on conflicts of interest by making it illegal for lawmakers and their families to trade stocks while in office, a Washington, D.C. source close to the situation said. It would also likely require lawmakers to put their assets in blind trusts, a step that the 34-year-old Ossoff completed himself months after being elected in January 2021. No Senate Republicans appear to have publicly come out against congressional stock trades, so Ossoff may have trouble finding a co-sponsor in the Senate. But Republican support in the House is more likely since several GOP House members, including Texas Representatives Michael Cloud and Chip Roy, have come out against the practice. Look, if there's going to be, here's the thing. Don't trust these politicians, but I find it interesting Senator Ossoff will do this. And I want to see how far he'll go. And you know what else? A direct challenge to Senator Ossoff. I'm actually going to send a message out asking him to be a guest on the show because I want to see just how sincere he is. How sincere he would be to be talking about holding the Democratic and Republican Party accountable for, stopping these congressional stock trades. How sincere. So good luck getting a Republican colleague. Another proposal to curb trades, the Ban Conflicted Trading Act, was introduced in the Senate in March by 4 Democratic senators, including Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon, also fellow Georgia freshman Ralph Warnock. It also has an accompanied bipartisan House version backed by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Representative Roy, among other Democrats and Republicans. But the Ban Conflicted Trading Act would only ban trades by members of Congress and their senior staff, not spouses or families. So Paul Pelosi's stock picking would remain legal. Ossoff's forthcoming bill would be stricter by closing the spouse loophole, the source said. That would put the new bill more in line with a bipartisan House proposal called the Trust in Congress Act, which would ban close family members from trading and is supported by Democrats, including Representative Abigail Spanger, Representative Mondale Jones, Representative Karen Bass, as well as Republicans like Roy Cloud, Scott Perry, and Fred Keller. And there's Nancy and her husband just enjoying a nice little gala event right there. As Speaker Pelosi's recent transactions make clear, decisions made for the people should be separate than the decisions made for personal enrichment, Roy told the Post. Insiders say Republicans in the Senate could fold and support an Ossoff-style bill if they feel political pressure. One person applying such pressure is Arizona Republican Senate primary candidate Blake Masters, who said both Pelosi and Senate Republicans are wrong about the issue. These lawmakers are just out of touch with how normal people view the situation, Masters told the Post. Members of Congress should not be buying call options on big tech companies they're in charge of regulating. That is ludicrous. Absolutely. We got to get money out of politics. As for a comment on Ossoff's potential congressional ethics bill, spokesman Jake Best said, "Don't have anything I could share just yet." Okay. So who knows if this thing's going to be dead in the water. News of Ossoff's potential bill comes as Nancy Pelosi and other politicians from both parties catch flack for making millions trading stocks despite potentially being privy to insider information that can move markets. Current rules allow members of Congress and their families to trade stocks as long as they disclose the moves within 45 days, though dozens of lawmakers had failed to file reports on time. You don't say! Dozens of lawmakers have failed? You mean the Democratic and Republican lawmakers in the House and Senate, the keen-eyed eagles, failed to file the reports in time? I am shocked. I am chagrined. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is not butter. So Ossoff has criticized the practice, but has yet to sign onto any specific bill. Ossoff and Warnock in particular appear to owe their political careers to poorly received congressional stock trades. Their opponents in the 2021 Georgia special election, Republicans Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, both faced investigations for trading stocks ahead of the 2020 stock market crash after receiving Senate briefings about the pandemic. While Loeffler and Perdue were never charged with insider trading, Ossoff and Warnock both used the trades as ammunition to hammer the incumbents and ultimately won by slim margins. The Georgia election shows why both Republicans and Democrats should support a crackdown on stock trading, according to Craig Holman, an Essex lobbyist at progressive think tank Public Citizen. David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler lost their seats, I think, because of the allegations of insider trading, Holman told the Post. Had those allegations not happened, I suspect the Republicans would have held onto the Senate. Members of both parties should realize it's a politically risky thing to do to trade on the stock market. Concerns about insider trading has also stretched beyond Congress. In October, Ossoff called a ban on stock trading by Federal Reserve officials following revelations that two regional reserve bank presidents had actively traded shares in 2020. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell banned the practice weeks later. So it's one sick, corrupted circle. It's one sick system that we're all part of. And I think we should all kind of take a step back and look at just how weak our entire political system is, how corrupt it is. We got to get money out of politics, folks. We have to get money out of politics. So I do hope, Senator Ossoff, I hope that you are able and successful in getting this bill passed. We'll see how sincere you really are. But remember, you're going after Ice Cream Nancy. And she's got a lot of people going to bat for her, including the squad. And a lot of vote blue no matter who and blue checkmark people. Because let's face it, Nancy Pelosi has a lot of power. And she's going to make sure that nothing will fundamentally change. And as the Democrats walk into a disaster that is known as the 2022 midterm election cycle, know this. You don't owe these politicians anything. They're all going on vacation. They all have gold-plated health care. They all have wonderful benefits. And they've effectively abandoned you. Democratic and Republican lawmakers. Yeah, there might be a handful that actually kind of give a damn. But at this point, if you're in the Democratic and Republican Party, now's the time to break away from it. Because both parties aren't going to help us out. And no matter how the midterms will play, whether the Democrats have control or the House and Senate's 50-50 or the Republicans get control, they're going to still abandon you. They're not going to help you. And the sooner we all realize that, the better. Now's the time to start supporting third parties. Now's the time to start voting down ballot. Now's the time to start supporting ballot initiatives. Now's the time to start supporting activist groups and organizations that are separate, away from Washington, D.C., that's not going to rely on these politicians because they will abandon us. They'll say things we want to hear on social media, but they won't do a damn thing to help us out. With that being said, I will be ending this live stream. Before I do, I want to at least acknowledge we did get a YouTube super chat from Mandy Zubrick, $4.99. Thank you so much. Still laugh when I hear you say Nancy Pelosi. Maybe Tom Mace here will be a supporter. We'll see about that. We'll see. But again, for you, Maddie, Nancy Pelosi, ice cream. Just calm down. Just calm down. We're going to abandon people and not feed them. There you go. We got CBU who says, Six Semper Tyrannis. There you go. Shout out to our entire viewing audience. Shout out to E. Heller, who's one of our moderators. Thank you so much for keeping the peace in here, E. Heller. Shout out to our entire viewing audience. All of you have been really supportive for us. We are very grateful for all the support that we are getting online. We do appreciate everything. Solgato blog Pogo says Congress is just a resume builder. Yeah. And once they're out of Congress, they become lobbyists. So there we go. All right. Let's see who else we got here. .com says search YouTube for Sesame Street Nancy the Nanny Goat. Okay. Well, we'll see about that. All right. Hold on. And one other thing here too. By the way, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Again, Heartlands Media is live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, Odyssey, and Rockfin. Again, be sure to subscribe to us on Odyssey and Rockfin. Those two links are in the description box below. Please consider being a Patreon supporter. Your support will make sure that we're able to continue to do this show. We'll be back in our studio tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm really looking forward to getting things started for this new year because, let's face it, we got a lot of great projects for all of you. So again, double check and triple check that you are still subscribed. I also want to acknowledge this too because I saw this in the chat. But apparently, actor and comedian Bob Saget has passed away. Condolences to his family. Very sorry for your loss. So rest in peace, Bob Saget. All the best to you in the next life. But yes, so yeah. Wow. He died today. Condolences to his family. Very, very sorry that happened. Also, we got a YouTube super chat from Tristan G, $2. Rock on, Nancy Pelosi. Go Hard Lens Media. Thank you so much. So yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your support. Again, we're live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, Odyssey, and Rockfin. Be sure to subscribe to us on those two platforms, Odyssey and Rockfin, and be sure you're still subscribed to us on YouTube too. Be sure to double check you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing a lot of people. So thank you again for all the support, folks. Peace to you guys, and let us all do what we can to build a better future. I'm putting my farewell right there. Take care, folks, and all the best.